In the history of the planet, there is a certain spot that the sun has never illuminated. This place is so depressing that it is impossible to determine the direction one is going. It feels as if time has stopped moving. The drifting shapes in this location lack any shadows. In situations where there is no light reflection, eyes remain vigilant. Instantaneously, a bright light emanates from something, as opposed to the flames. Unlike lightning, it is not similar. On the contrary, it sounds like the soft breathing of a ghost that is dozing off in the shadows. Science fiction would never find a setting like this one. The depth of the ocean is at its greatest here. In addition, the more we probe the subject, the more bizarre the experience of life starts to emerge. As we descend deeper beneath the waters, the sun's beams begin to dwindle at a rate that is faster than you could have anticipated. Although it is only 200 meters deep, the ocean is able to absorb practically all of the color. It is the color red that disappears first. Following that is the color orange. After that comes the hue is yellow. When viewed from a distance of 1,000 meters, the world appears to be almost entirely nighttime. The midnight ocean is an area that is characterized by completely dark conditions, crushing pressure, and temperatures that are very close to freezing. It is also known as the midnight ocean. No vegetation is able to flourish in this location. When it comes to photosynthesis, there is no possibility. This does not prevent life from continuing to flourish. To survive in this environment, however, one must take certain precautions in order to ensure their lives. In a world where there is no light, it is not sufficient to simply be invisible without being seen. In order to fulfill this requirement, you must either completely disappear or transform into the light that you believe in. Instantaneously, the initial glimmers materialized in front of us. There are a few sparks that are scattered throughout the void. The flashes have a soft blue color to them, a light that is chilly and not living. The ability of living things to produce light rather than heat through the process of chemistry is referred to as bioluminescence. This phenomenon is referred to as the ability of living things to make light. The chemical reaction that takes place within these organisms is responsible for the production of light. I do not feel any warmth. It does not have a flame. One can only make out a sliver of light in the distance. Within the depths of the water, it is the means of communication that is used the most frequently across the board. Moreover, researchers are of the opinion that more than 75% of the species that inhabit the deep water are capable of emitting a glow. However, why is it the case? Here, light does not serve as a decorative component. Language is the issue here. The name for this is camouflage. It is used as bait. Furthermore, there are times when it's a totally untrue statement. Certain species of fish give out a glow and then disappear. Potential predators gaze up, but their shadow vanishes due to the placement of soft lights along their bellies that mimic the dull glow from above. This ensures that their shadow is eliminated. The technology in question is referred to as counter-illumination, and it is referred to as a biological invisibility cloak. Certain folks use light as a weapon in their arsenal. The anglerfish is carrying an illuminated lure above its mouth, and it swims about softly as if it were food so that it can attract the attention of the fish. At some point, everything that is intriguing enough to approach will vanish. Certain animals display patterns that mimic signals, likely in an attempt to find potential mates in the absence of light. It is possible for some individuals to emit luminous clouds, which temporarily divert the attention of potential predators and enable them to flee. Nevertheless, such behavior raises an issue that is a little bit unsettling. When the light is unable to penetrate the darkness and show you, if evolution is responsible for the radiance of so many diverse species, what is the explanation behind this phenomenon? It is still the case that scientists do not possess all of the necessary information, given that we are still falling. There is an increase in pressure. There is a decline in temperature that has occurred. Existence turns out to be increasingly unusual and odd. Some fish in this region glow from the inside out, revealing their bones through their transparent skin. Others in this region are translucent. As in the case of a living lantern, there are instances in which glowing microorganisms are responsible for the production of light. However, because light travels the longest in salt water, the glow of certain species is tuned to a very specific color, which is blue-green. This is because seawater is the medium in which light travels the longest. Only a small number of predators are able to detect red light, which is invisible to the vast majority of possible threats. In other words, it's like whispering in a color no one else can hear. The reasons why just some creatures have this ability are not entirely known. Could there have been more than one instance of its development? Simply put, the discovery that we have made serves to shed even more light on the mystery. Although decades have passed since the beginning of exploration, a sizable chunk of this magnificent planet has not been found. Deep water kills the overwhelming majority of species before they reach the surface. They will run away as soon as they spot cameras. In the course of their lives, submersibles are only able to observe a limited amount of their surroundings. The number of species that are capable of emitting light is something that the scientific community does not yet know. A further limitation is that we are unable to ascertain the quantity of signals that we have completely misinterpreted. Every flash should be taken as a warning, right? Exists a message? If yes, or is there anything that we do not yet have the appropriate words to describe? Given the depths of the oceans, it is challenging to provide an explanation for them. The origins of life can be found far below the surface, where a secret predating humanity lies. Such discovery is not for the sake of aesthetics. It is not for us, no. Despite this, light, regardless of its feebleness, was the crucial factor in determining their chances of survival. It is becoming abundantly evident that one thing is becoming overwhelmingly clear as we continue to hover on the brink of this magnificent abyss. The more we probe into the depths of existence, the less familiar it actually is. Moreover, the more we realize how little we comprehend of our world, the more we realize how little we know. There is still a chance that spirits can be discovered in the seas. In the absence of light, a significant proportion of them continue to emit a glowing appearance.